You've reached the Homer Hotline with Dr. Kevin Solez. Please stand by.
Greetings, podcast fans. I am Kevin Solez, coming to you from Lac-La-Biche County, Canada. I am the host and creator of the Homer Hotline, and I'm recording this episode to give you an introduction to the series, let you know where it came from and what I'm trying to do. So in 2020, I became aware of a very interesting project called the Herodotus Helpline. And I was very impressed with these people and their efforts to connect active scholarship with the public. And at that time, when I learned of the Herodotus Helpline, I thought, well, what about a Homer uh, uh, effort, like the Homer Hotline or something like that? It came across my mind in 2020, and I didn't do anything with it. But now in 2025 and 2026, I've had time and I've created this podcast for you. My orientation for what we're doing here is I'm interested in showing to the public the way that scholars really talk to each other about issues that they care about. So this is not academics and scholars reformatting the things that they research and presenting them to the public, but rather sharing what they're interested in right now, what they're thinking about right now. And I don't think that the audience is going to have a problem with us talking inside baseball in this way. There may be some things unfamiliar to listeners, but hearing us and the way that we talk and describe things will get you up to speed. And I hope that it gives you some ideas that are pleasing to think about, some sort of general ideas that you find applicable to your thinking about movies and novels and other media that you like, not just ancient texts. Secondarily, I do hope that that some listeners will go find an ancient text, crack the spine, and read it in English translation or in whatever languages you read, so that you have that kind of autopsy experience, that confrontation between you as an individual and the ancient text, which is almost universally inspiring. The ancient epics that survive from antiquity come from cultures that are very foreign to us, very different from ourselves. And so it's simply fascinating to think what they care about and the struggles that they were going through, which are very different and yet somehow similar to our own. So I hope that's what you get out of it. Our focus here is the Homeric poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey, related epic cyclic material, epic cycle material, archaic Greek poetry in general, and then all of the related matters, including visual art, intercultural connections, the study of narrative, how stories fit together. We touch on all of these topics in the hotline. So I became a Homerist in the year 2002, 2003, when I was working on an honors thesis at the University of Alberta, directed by Selena Stewart. And I completed that. It was called Lyrecraft, the Origin and Adoption of the Greek Word Catharis. And there I'm talking about an early adoption into the Greek language of a musical word. This word clearly wasn't in Bronze Age Greek, so it must have been sometime after that, or it is likely to have been sometime after that. And so I was focusing on the earliest literary Greek in my writing, and that led me to deal with the Homeric poems in Greek in an intensive way back then, more than 20 years ago, and more or less the rest is history. I went on to do a master's in classics at Johns Hopkins University and a PhD in classics at the University of British Columbia under the supervision of Dr. Franco De Angelis, where I produced this dissertation called Multicultural Banqueting in the Development of Archaic Greek Society, an investigation into modes of intercultural contact. My publications on Homer began in 2012. The issue came out in 2014, but this is my first published article. It was about racing metaphors, sporting metaphors in the Iliad and in Aeschylus, the tragedian. And my most recent publication that was a solo-authored, peer-reviewed study about Homer was a 2019 article I wrote, which talks about Odysseus's journey home from the Trojan War and how it is mirrored by the story of Menelaus's journey home, that is Helen's husband, Menelaus. Odysseus's journey is mirrored by the journey of Menelaus in terms of itineraries and activities undertaken by the two men. And that was published in the Yearbook of Ancient Greek Epic in 2019. I have a long-standing project on feasting in the Homeric poems, especially in the dimension of feasting that deals with intercultural contact and establishing coexistence and organizing coexistence with people that one feels are not insiders. So the role of feasting in mediating relations between insiders and outsiders, with a special focus on that in the Homeric poems. That's a long project that got going on and is still going on. So you'll see that the guests of the podcast in this first season come from around the world, are interested in Roman epic, Greek epic, ancient art, the late Bronze Age, and Linear B. Many different subjects, including, not to leave out, the adaptation of Homeric epic in modern films, such as the upcoming Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. So I hope you enjoy that variety. I hope each interview gives you some ideas that are pleasant to think about and may cause you to reflect and have some new insights into things that you're interested in. When I was thinking about doing this introduction, which was advised by my great editor, J.A. Wadsworth, a quote that was shared with me by the Homerist Michael Lynn George, who was my Greek religion professor at the University of Alberta, came out of my mind, this quote that Michael Lynn George liked, and it's from Franz Kafka. Writing is a prayer. And somehow what I'm trying to do with this podcast, that rings true to me. I feel like the Homer Hotline is a prayer. I don't know what I'm praying for, but I hope you receive it. Here it is, the Homer Hotline.
You've been listening to the Homer Hotline with Dr. Kevin Solez. The Bard has left the chat. Like, subscribe, hit the bell.